Well, Des Hasler was once described as Manly's mad professor. Now, Anthony Seibold is turning to science as he prepares for the return of Trbojevic. The Seagulls coach is poring over data to determine how to best use the injury-prone Turbo.
Anthony Seibold and the Eagles are locked in the mid-table scramble, but the coach's wild card is nearing a return. Trbojevic is set to start training with his team by the end of next week, and he'll play in round 18. There's a thought he should return as a centre and eventually a 5'8" to prolong his career. But Seibold is relying on science, not chance, to make a career-changing switch.
We've had a number of conversations about position. Rather than just think about the change of position subjectively, we've had a really good objective look at the GPS data, because what we wanted to see was, what are the demands of the fullback, what are the demands of the centre.
The markers they've examined are based on Turbo playing centre at Origin compared to fullback at Manly, and they've compared the current Manly centres against Turbo at fullback for the Seagulls. The key indicators in each position are his metres per minute, total contact, his change of pace, his high running speed and his hard acceleration.
To be frank, from a data point of view, there's not a whole heap of difference. We actually thought there might be a little bit more. There's a little bit more change of pace as a fullback, but there's a lot more contact when you're playing centre. So there's a number of sort of things we need to consider, and we've got a couple of weeks until we have to make that decision.
Hard acceleration is the biggest difference, with a greater requirement at fullback.
What are you leaning towards?
No, I'm still learning.
Is he open to whatever you say should happen?
Yeah.
Like he'll leave it in your hands?
Yeah. But I also want his input too, because he's an elite player. So, I don't want to make the decision solely. We've been collaborating and communicating the whole time. But I want to do what's best for Turbo, right? So if it's best to put him into centres, then that's what we'll do. I still think his best position's fullback. So, again, it's a big decision.
Danny Weidler, 9 News.
Well, Regan Campbell-Gillard has called on the Eels board to decide as soon as possible about their next coach. Players are looking for stability and certainty at Parramatta after an unsettled start to the year.
Trent Barrett in charge of the Eels, but for how much longer? Para players admit their next coach is a hot topic in the dressing room.
You're all pretty curious. You look at the shortlist, so it gets shoved in your face every time you're on your phone.
There are plenty of balls in the air for the Eels board. Barrett, Josh Hannay, Jason Riles and Michael Checker are among those being considered. Regan Campbell-Gillard wants an answer soon.
Players that are contracted here, they're contracted, but again, if a coach comes in and sees other things, then you'd like to know straight away.
It's not just players. Assistant coaches and support staff also face an uncertain future.
One person losing their job has an effect on 10 to 15 people within the organisation, so the sooner the better.
Whoever takes over Parramatta would surely be looking forward to working with Mitchell Moses. Calls for the halfback to play in Origin 2 are growing louder, but not necessarily from his teammates.
You kind of want him to play and you kind of don't. So
it's always a horrible time to lose a player of that calibre, but it's a career opportunity that doesn't come around too often, so we're all fully supportive.
Moses Blue's comeback would likely be at the expense of Nicho Hynes, who's apparently not showing any signs of the pressure he's under.
Smiling, back to himself, confident, trained well.
Hynes, club coach, happy for the Origin spotlight to be on his number 7.
To go through it, it's only going to make you stronger. You've got to deal with it. So I think Nico's done a good job of that so far.
Luke Dovesey, 9 News.
Well, the demise of the Melbourne Rebels has cost rugby one of its brightest young stars. Wallabies playmaker Carter Gordon switching codes, signing a 2-year deal with the Gold Coast Titans from 2025. The 23-year-old walks out on the 15-man code after 4 seasons with the Rebels and 8 tests to his name, including 2 World Cup caps.